the free speech posturing on the right, it is fascinating to see how they ignore stories involving Donald Trump trying to get the DOJ involved in censoring comedians who teased him too much and hurt his fifis. This is a real story, and it does call for another segment of the Debate-a-Bus.
Beta! Beta male! You are beta male.
There was the Beta-Bus, not the Debate-a-Bus. I was thinking about Steven Crowder running away from his debate with Sam Seder, but nonetheless, this is a different story.
I guess he's the beta bro.
So Donald Trump reportedly tried to get the Department of Justice involved in going after SNL and a number of other comedians because of how they were poking fun of him on their programming. So according to the Daily Beast, Trump had asked advisors and lawyers in early 2019 about what the Federal Communications Commission, the court system, and most confusingly to some Trump lieutenants, the Department of Justice could do to probe or mitigate SNL, Jimmy Kimmel, and other late night comedy mischief makers. No, but Donald Trump saw the federal government and the various federal agencies as his personal concierge, like his personal services to go after opponents, to essentially squash any comedy or free speech that he found offensive. And that's the thing that I want you guys to take away. This isn't just about Donald Trump. This is about the wider right wing that claims or purports to care about free speech, when in reality, behind the scenes, they really do go out of their way to squash speech that they dislike, to avoid engaging in actual debates with people on the left who actually know what they're talking about. This is what the right is. This is what the right wing in America is really about. Now, he got news and satire mixed up, by the way, right? And he also realized that the fairness doctrine was completely defanged by Ronald Reagan. So the show amounted to nothing less than unfair news coverage and Dem commercials, Trump tweeted in 2018, and wondered if that observation should be tested in courts. Can't be legal.
He's unreal.
That's like what he said publicly, by the way. But he also privately said, quote, "Can something else be done about it?" Trump replied, according to this source, to which they responded with some version of, "I'll look into it." I mean, spoiler alert, of course they didn't look into it. Apparently this happened a lot in Trump's administration, where his advisors would be asked to do certain things that were unconstitutional or even illegal, and they just basically said, "Oh yeah, no, we got you. And then they didn't do anything because they literally can't. Right? The suggestions that Trump had were ridiculous. Now in his head, he applied equal time, which was part of the fairness doctrine, as the regulation to pursue when it came to these comedians. Trump had to be repeatedly advised that the equal time rules to which he appeared to refer to wouldn't even apply in this situation, given that late night shows and NBC sketch comedy are clearly staged satire and thus not bound by the same requirements of other forms of broadcast TV and radio. And by the way, equal time, again, was part of the fairness doctrine, which was defanged during the Ronald Reagan administration. That's why Fox News exists and they don't have to give equal time to the left. You never see equal time in the news these days.
Okay, let's first of all, the main headline in this fun story is beta, right? I mean, he's trying to figure out how to make Saturday Night Live illegal.
It's amazing.
I mean, how weak do you have to be? He also had them. He wanted the Department of Justice to look into Jimmy Kimmel. This comedian's making fun of me. He has hurt my feelings. My feelings are the most important thing in the country. And he said they're unfunny. Can we force them to make fun of other people? Like literally, he's like, because he misunderstands the fairness doctrine, as Anna told you. So he thought, can we force them to make jokes about Democrats? That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. Okay, so. I mean, here's a grown ass man. And by the way, 40% of the country looks up to this guy. They think he's a strong guy. Oh my God, first of all, satire doesn't care about your feelings. And this is the guy you look up to, this guy who's so pathetically weak that when he sees a joke about himself, he's like, I want to make it illegal to make fun of me. Oh, I can't get enough of how weak that is. So that's the guy you look up to. Have at it, Hoss, okay? And by the way, they're all the same. Look at Crowder running from Sam Cedar, right? As one of our viewers just pointed out, Candace Owens running from Kyle Kulinski. They all run, right? And so now, furthermore though, there's like important stuff in this otherwise funny story too, because these are also the guys who say, oh, freedom of speech must be protected. This cancel culture is unacceptable. It's the worst thing there is. Can we cancel Saturday Night Live because they made a joke about Donald Trump and it hurt his feelings?
Yeah.
It's amazing how little they care about hypocrisy. They just don't care at all. They're like, yeah, we're unbelievable hypocrites. We want to cancel everyone who even makes a joke about us. But then if we say terrible things, we don't want to be held accountable for it. So that's who the right wing is. Using the Department of Justice is unbelievable. You cannot use the Justice Department to target your political opponents and charge them with crimes, let alone targeting comedians. How can you not see that he's Trumple thin skin? Is that what they used to call him, right, back in the day? I mean, that's what he is. And so, and the fairness doctrine hasn't been around for decades.
Literally decades.
Decades,
yes.
He doesn't know anything.
No, but I'm actually, can I just say, I'm impressed that he remembers the fairness doctrine, because the fairness doctrine was good. Make no mistake. After it was good. After it was defanged by the Ronald Reagan administration, what followed immediately was Rush Limbaugh, and then later Fox News. And there were provisions in that doctrine that were important. That's why the right wing despised it. And that's why we find ourselves in the media environment that we're in, unfortunately. But I'm amazed that he remembered the fairness doctrine. That's actually kind of impressive for Donald Trump specifically, not impressive for the average Joe.
But I mean, I know, damning with faint praise, but yeah, I mean, that is a very, very, very low bar. Isn't there a law? No, we got rid of that law. In fact, like we as in the Republicans got rid of that law decades ago. I want it back, okay. And we're giving him credit, like he remembered an extinct law.
Good job, Donnie boy.
Good job, Donnie. Good job, okay? But finally, one last thing. The other serious part is that his own administration, over and over again, I mean, 3 different stories broke out in the last week explaining how they ignored him all the time. So he would say to the Department of Justice after the election, I want you to look into Italy. Italy rigged the elections against me, and you see the emails now because of we have them verbatim, right? And the Justice Department's like, oh yeah, just ignore him. He's an idiot, right? Like everybody knows that the president was an idiot, and so he would ask for outrageous things. With like sharks with freaking lasers on their heads, right? But literally, he asked for alligators and snakes in a moat on the border, and they're like, no, we're not gonna get you alligators and snakes, Dr. Evil, okay? And then he asked whether we could nuke a hurricane, etc. But in this case, they literally, it's in the documents again. He's like, I want them investigated for making a joke about me. And they're like, sure, we'll look into it. And then they joke behind his back. Of course, we're not gonna look into it. The president's a moron that doesn't know the law at all. He doesn't know anything about this country.
In fact,
that was the president of the United States.
In fact, someone close to him in the White House told the Daily Beast this: it was more annoying than alarming, to be honest with you.
And one more thing, Anna. So we've now shown you all these cases where Trump makes an outrageous ask, and everybody goes, sure, Mr. President. And they walk out, and they're like, just ignore the moron, right? And they're proven right, because the moron never realizes that they ignored him. Like all of these different things that he asked for, next week they don't show up. Next month they don't show up, and he doesn't remember. He doesn't notice. I mean, the guy was so proud that he could go person, man, woman, camera, TV, right? And so it's not surprising that he didn't remember anything that he actually requested.
Yeah.
And he never asked, like, hey, didn't I ask Bob to arrest the comedians at SNL? Why is Jimmy Kimmel still on TV? I wanted him arrested, right?
Right.
No, he doesn't even notice because he's that stupid.
And honestly, as my dad would say, Thanks God, because remember, Trump would tell us consistently who he really is. After meeting with Kim Jong-un, after seeing the people of North Korea stand as Kim Jong-un, a brutal dictator, enter the room, what was Trump's reaction to that? He wanted that. He has the heart of an authoritarian, but the brain of, I don't know, a pigeon, right? Like the guy just is not smart. And thank God he wasn't smart, right? Because he had those authoritarian tendencies, and if he were smart, and if he were like this brutish dictator, like I have no doubt that he'd find ways to get the DOJ to do his bidding in regard to censoring speech.
Yeah, and look guys at how ridiculously unsophisticated he is. Like the Dick Cheneys of the world, who are terrible guys, they found a way to manipulate the system.
Yes.
They didn't just say, hey, we're going to attack Iraq because we want their oil. Right? They said, oh, we're worried about weapons of mass destruction, and they come from the same geographic region as the people who attacked us on 9/11, and then they manipulated the bureaucracy, et cetera. So they actually accomplished their goal, unfortunately, right? Trump, instead of going, hey, I'm concerned about Saturday Night Live's issues, not because of them, but because Comcast is a merger, and I'm worried about the anti-competitive nature of that merger, and I wonder if some of these programmings are affecting that and leading to antitrust issues. That's your excuse, which some more sophisticated conservatives are using to try to attack people in the media that are their opponents. Trump just goes and goes, me no like SNL, they made fun of me. Me no like Jimmy Kimmel. Me used to like Jimmy Kimmel, me no like Jimmy Kimmel anymore. Can me arrest Jimmy Kimmel? Yes, sir, of course we can, Donnie, of course we can. Okay, I like that. And then he never notices that they didn't get arrested.
Thanks God.
And by the way, this is not in the past, guys. Donald Trump is still the head of the Republican Party. He's primarying Republicans as we speak. He's going and courting Republican leaders like Kevin McCarthy and others, and they are all following his orders in lockstep. So Mitch McConnell to Kevin McCarthy, every Republican leader says that blithering idiot is the guy we look up to and is our leader. Have at it, Hoss. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.